Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm just dabbling into Baldur's Gate 3 a little bit. Don't reset, don't reset, don't reset. Yeah, I haven't passed a certain point of Baldur's Gate 3. I've started it 4 times now. I think 5. I've been 5 times. One was like a restart of the same. I don't remember. Listen, they're all on the channel. You can check them out for yourself. Just kind of be like learning the system, tactical versus, I guess, casual or balanced. I want to go casual. I want to go story first. But just long story short, because I'm not going to burn away a bunch of time at the beginning here talking about it. But while I'm working through this character creation here, I will sort of talk about things. I'm not ready to play a long-term RPG yet, although I will. Absolutely will. And here's the thing. I'm not even sure where I'm going to post the content. And you might be saying, why not this channel? Well, I don't even know what this channel is that I posted this to, because I'm just sort of experimenting with things while I'm not transient yet, but I will be transient in real life. Like I might not be in a place where I will be in a stable location to be consistent, and I would like to get into this game because of how story rich it can be when I can be consistent. So that's where we're at. Did I say long story short? Yeah, that's pretty much the long story short. Is that so? But here's what I was doing. Is this too loud? I feel like it's too loud in my head. Hold on. Let me just put down the volume going into my headset. I just want to be casual. I guess that's the other point I want to talk about. I just want to have a place to just chat. What did I want to talk about? Chilling. I remember old school chilling on YouTube, and I feel like that's been missing a lot lately, and I've been seeking it out as a watcher. I just want to find channels that chill, and sometimes they're playing games I didn't really care about, but I stumble on them, and I was like, yeah, it's chill. I kind of miss the old YouTube, man. Why have I been restarting Baldur's Gate over and over again? Because I've been trying to find the perfect balance of how to play the game and enjoy it for what I want out of an RPG. A CRPG in particular is something I've been jonesing for probably a year. So I started another channel, whether this is on that channel or not, whether you discover it. However I post this, it might be unlisted, and I'm only going to share the link to a select few, or maybe I'm going to put it public. Like, I don't even know. I'm just recording because I want to talk about stuff casually while I'm working on something that's eventually going to turn into content. I've been struggling with the whole producer versus consumer relationship that YouTube has turned into. I've been stumbling on Minecraft channels of all the goddamn content I'd be stumbling upon, because that's like the oldest content I can remember just being a thing 10 years ago on YouTube, and I was never into Minecraft. I played one Let's Try of Minecraft probably in the first year of the channel, 2016, 2017 maybe. I think it was released on Microsoft on Windows, and I installed it just to give it a shot because it was free. And I've always really liked this hair as well. And I enjoyed it. I enjoy the creative elements behind Minecraft. Now, YouTube and Minecraft goes a long way back, right? Like, it goes a long way back. And what I've noticed with this is also one of my favorite hairstyles. What I've also noticed, though, is that the content I'm stumbling on, which is the kind of content I'm talking about, where people are just having a casual conversation while they're playing, or they're talking casually over top of gameplay that they've already pre-recorded. And it's not just a production. And that's what I was talking about. Producer versus consumer. I don't enjoy that dynamic. I don't. Personally, I think that's I was aiming for that as a YouTuber back in 2000, was that in the COVID era, right? I was aiming to take it more seriously and be more, I was already prolific. I was uploading 1 to 3 times a day for 5 years. I got to 3,000 videos uploads before I sort of paused things and tried to contemplate, because that was a 5-year plan. I got to 2021 and I kind of went, okay, well, I've reached my goal in 2016 to do YouTube for 5 years and see how it felt. And I know how it felt. I know how it felt. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But then after that post thinking is where I started to go, not just for myself, but I was analyzing content on YouTube for how it changed. As a consumer, I was going, how am I consuming content on YouTube? And it felt different. And I didn't know if I enjoyed it. I say that going as a consumer, I didn't know if I enjoyed it. And then that impacted me as a producer, because I was I didn't want to be a producer. That's not why I started YouTube. That's also really nice, was very pretty boy. And I'm not looking for that. I almost said the name, but just keep going. And y'all know, those of you know, you know what's going on here. But in any case, I didn't want that. And I think that I didn't know that I didn't want that. And so then that became a struggle for a year or two on the channel as I try to determine what my YouTube persona was going to be. But see, I was still going in the wrong direction because the YouTube persona was very much the producer versus just being an authentic person sharing their experiences with people who wish to share them. And like I can say that so clearly now because the mission statement is very clear to me since the beginning of this year, which is 2024, January 2024. For context of where I started 2016, which is why I'm creating the character I'm creating right now, for those of you who know. But it's kind of a return to basics, man. Basics. I'm not angry about it. I'm angry at myself for having lost time because I'm very sensitive to the loss of time because I'm old. I haven't talked about the age, but I'm like, I didn't use a webcam in the beginning of YouTube Let's Plays when I started them, but I was doing vlogs and stuff like that, so it's not like I was hiding my image, right? But I'm not a youngling. I'm not a 17-year-old Minecraft player. I'm not a 20-year-old Minecraft, a person playing Minecraft talking about life and not taking things seriously. And these things are blowing up, and there's just people sharing their thoughts and having really real moments. And on new channels that they've just rebooted because they've given up the grind at 17 to 20 years old. Like, are you kidding? Folks, you have a lot of time ahead of you. And you're already ahead by just coming to the realization that you don't have to take things so seriously. You don't have to grind so hard. And we're in a market on YouTube right now where, like I even said the word, because I'm kind of going to do marketing in the back, like in real life. Like I'm a product manager, product owner. I'm in product, I'm in marketing, I'm in digital. I don't want to give the details away, but it's like, and so it's hard for me to not think about these kinds of angles of things. But that's not what YouTube was for me. I wasn't trying to turn it into my day job, like in part 2. Like, I needed it to be an escape. And this is also really nice, but it looks like Legolas from Lord of the Rings, right? Which kind of was what this character was based on, even though, yeah. Anyways, so I find it interesting. I'm turning 47 this year. I'm old, and I've never said my age explicitly, but I've given context around, I like this character when I played him. Fine. In 2016, I played Dragon Age Origins with a character called Xander, and I talked about Xander and the importance of this character to me, because even at that time, it was already a character that was 15, 20 years old in my history, and that's kind of when I aged myself on the very first Let's Play that I've done on this channel. But I never talked about my age, and I alluded to it in joking, like I have context from shows in the 80s, I have context from things that happened in the early 90s, right? And so like I have context over video games the way they were for 20 years before they became huge talking points in YouTube content, right? And so I have this history, but I never talked about why time really, really mattered to me. Yeah, I was 39, I think, when I started YouTube. I was maybe 38 when I was thinking about it, something like that, okay? So I'm 47 now. I'm turning 47, 46. Oh my God, what year is it? I'm literally confusing myself. I'm 46. I'm turning 47 this year. Is that what I said? Anyways, the point is I, me getting to 50 is a big deal. It's a big deal. And so I can't, I can't just burn away. I can't do a full-time job for 40 hours and then also do YouTube for 40 hours, which is what I was doing for 5 years. Like, I was grinding hard. And, but it didn't feel like work because it was very fun. It was enjoyable, But at the same time, after I hit that wall, right, I was in my 40s 3 years ago, when I was like, whoa, something's got to give here, because there's all these other things I want to do, right? I produced this comic series over a couple of years that I started in 2009, and I finished in 2015. I kickstarted from 2016 or 17 to 2020, 21, right? So, like, there's been other projects I did on the side. YouTube was not, like, this was already full-time effort here, but I was also putting in part-time effort on a production company for comic books and novels and Kickstarter production and distribution, and I was doing all of that stuff at the same time. And so there's plenty of time. Like, I'm a very good manager of time. That being said, I can also lose how can I put this? I definitely didn't have the most stable of thoughts over the last while, which was clear on this channel for the people who follow. Those who are new here, you won't have the context, but just understand that it was a journey, because I'm a person who definitely goes through a lot of thinking when I'm trying to work out my own struggles. And I knew I was in a mental struggle, but I didn't know what that mental struggle was. And it's not just the channel. There's like stuff in life. There's stuff in life. And the channel was like 20% of just shit that's going on that's making me think about this life, time, and the meaning of it and what I want to accomplish in life with the time that I have left. And that sounded very foreboding, and I didn't mean it that way, but it's something I fear. I fear not being capable of fulfilling dreams that I set out to do. I started cutting this abridged version of the original series on this channel, just to make it a leaner, full cut. I literally am looking for the one hair that I want, and now I can't find it. Let me just find it before I continue my thought. But see, I've already lost it because that's how my brain works. I'm digging this cut right here. Now, it's not where I would have gone or how I would have gone. I would have gone with the Legolas cut, and I really like this one. But I have another character that I'd like to keep this on if I return to him. I've always loved this one, but I got this on another character that I think is works. And then there's just the one that the default hair that this one started with. So, but this is going to be the Baldur's Gate multiverse Xander. What else was I going to say before I continue? This is a goddamn disaster. And it was, and the hair color is even right. White hair. What else do I want to do here? I want to make the character. I want to create the character. Like the class and stuff like that. I can't believe I already forget this. It's been a couple months. Of course, race, sub-race. Anyways, and that's what I mean. I've already lost the so I returned. So I was watching the content, and I was like, I really want to release a full cut version of Dragon Age Origins, and like fix some of the editing. Like, it was recorded in lower resolution. Now I might be able to upscale it with the editor I'm using, and hopefully there's a smart way of like not making it look blurry or crappy when it like blows up to a higher resolution for newer YouTube. But in 2016 there was no real, like, you use the tools you had, and that's what I did, and cut out a lot of the fluff, a lot of the fighting, a lot of the stuff that dragged down the series. The deeper I got into the lore of Dragon Age Origins, the more I just wanted to really get into that part of it. And in the early days, I just did that freely. Like, that was the way I did content, and I don't feel like that's changed through the years, but I feel like the algorithm and my own mental catastrophe led me down, always feeling like I was failing at everything I did, and the games I really loved just weren't captivating an audience, and I really loved them. And so it became like this personal connection with the game, because I wasn't just thinking as a producer, I was sharing an experience. And so when you share an experience with an audience, and again, that audience is separated from a more like casual relationship vibe that you get when you're a small channel, which is why I'm strongly considering rebooting a channel just for RPGs. I'll just talk about it straight up right now. It's not because I think the channel will grow faster. It's because, in part, I feel like I just need a reboot. It allows new people to discover the channel when it's still small, and they feel like they can talk to the content creator like they're a person. Not to say that still doesn't happen in the comments, but like the more comments that happen, they can become overwhelming. And as the audience becomes more dispersed based on content variety or video game variety, then that content doesn't become part of the conversation. And in the early version of XEI Gaming, I really, really admired and enjoyed the conversation while I played the game, and I just feel like over the years, it's just something hasn't panned out, and I know that that's almost predominantly my fault. I can't, I can't blame the algorithm. I know it's easy to do, and I've done it, but I also do data. I'm a data person in real life with my role, and like, at the end of the day, I think what I've been saying at work recently has been, I don't have to like the decision, but I agree with it. It's a reversal, but it makes sense. When you work with data that long, you just kind of go, there's data. There's data that tells you why you have to go in a direction, but when you summarize the direction, I've had to do this as a project owner and as a lead project manager, and I gotta go, I don't like it. But this is what the data is telling us we have to do. This is what the audience is asking for. And some of them are complaining, but it doesn't show. It doesn't show in the data that's telling us how we need to go forward. And so we do. And then we measure it, right? And so I think YouTube's algorithm, to not blame it for the failures, but I do blame it for existing. I blame it for existing in the sense that I do believe there's a massive core audience on YouTube that has just been orphaned. And I believe I'm one of those people as an audience member. And I feel like a lot of the original people on this channel that found Dragon Age Origins, the first Let's Play on this channel in 2016, I feel like a lot of them are still out there. They're just 8 years older, just like I am. Just like, and so many people who've discovered early, like 2012 to 2016 YouTube content that people remember and think fondly of, you have to keep in mind. You might have been in high school, you might have been in college, you might have been in university, you've now aged, you possibly have a family, you possibly have kids, you possibly have a day job that takes up 40 hours of your time. You maybe have a partner or a spouse, or maybe you've gotten, God forbid, like something has happened in your life and things have derailed it. Maybe you've traveled, maybe you moved countries, maybe you have different life circumstances that, like financial obligations that take up more of your time. So you can't have casual viewing sessions of 1 hour Let's Plays once a day. Like, so all of us have aged, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know what target audience, like, again, to go back to my real day, right? Like lingo, right? What's my target audience, right? And then when I go there, I'm like, I know that's how I have to think when I'm creating content. But at the same time, I'm like, that's not how people were thinking in 2012. There's unlikely, a lot of the content creators that started in 2008, I mean, I know it was earlier than that. I was on YouTube in 2005. I think when they launched, it was like beta or something like that. But over the years, you know, the kind of content and the way it was produced, you know, when you talk about early Let's Plays like PewDiePie and then Markiplier and then Jacksepticeye and then Christopher Odd, like you can go down the list of 2012ers, right? In that era, 2012, 2015, 16, Splattercat was in there. There's so many Blitzkrieg, but I think he's changed his name. I found him yesterday. I was like, oh, it's like a whole different, like, it's like, anyways. So I watched a lot of RimWorld with him, and I think it's just he went to Blitz, and now he's like Blitz Nation or Blitz something. Anyways, the derailing, but the point is, they were just making content, and they happened to grow because they were casually sharing experiences, not because they were producing content. It's the overproduction of the content as content to garnish an audience. It works. There's a reason why it works. Because people think like producers act like producers, and so they get rewarded like producers. But man, I don't think the casual player who wants to share experiences is not wired that way, you know? And so I don't know if that's where I want to be. And so I can just release whatever I want on the channel and just accept what happens, but you have to accept certain things that come with that mentality going in. And I'm not sure that I also agree with that. I love the music in this game, though. I remember how much I love the music. Oh, I can hear this forever, man. It's so good. It's so good. All right, so how much more random stuff can I talk about? Is there Xander? Right now, I think I'm okay with it. I mean, this is all me just, you know, burning my time. I'm gonna proceed with a Xander. Multiverse Xander for Baldur's Gate. Bam! I'm just reshape my head for this. So proceed, and I got to create a Guardian. Now, ooh, that's intriguing that he'd have like a Drow Guardian in this world. I'm trying to remember if there's any thing that I might want to relate back to from an RP sense, so that I can lean on it. I mean, I played him in Baldur's Gate 1, but I don't remember enough. I didn't really like. When I played RPGs, I still kind of played them with the character in mind, but I didn't really take away a lot of the story bits from Baldur's Gate 1. I know the events that happened. And Baldur's Gate 2. I carried him over into that. Pretty sure. But I don't remember enough to like I'm not going to carry over anything from that. I don't think he's that Xander. Like, he's going to be he's not the original Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Xander. Because I don't remember enough. That was 20 years ago, people. It's over 20 years ago. Can you imagine that? Oof. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and then Icewind Dale was early 2000s, and then Neverwinter Night was 2003 to 2005, I recall, because I remember this game coming out, and I was still deeply in World of Warcraft, Xander. But I didn't, I was like too addicted to gaming, and I had to stop. And so I did, and then I started the channel to control that, and now I stopped doing Let's Plays, and I started getting super addicted to games again. I put in over 80 hours in 1 week for Project Zomboid. And then before that, I put in, I think, 60 hours in like a week and a bit for Subnautica. And it's just like, I think it's because I stopped doing Let's Plays. I went back to old habits from like what caused me to stop gaming in the first place because of health reasons and, well, other reasons. They're just like, when I say addicted to gaming, I'm not exaggerating with the caution in that phrasing. And in the last 2 months, I got a rude awakening of some past behavioral things, and so I need to maybe do a series again so I can control that. But I like being immersed in the experience. I miss that part of it, but I get too immersed in the experience, and then it's just it could be bad. It can be bad, folks. Be careful. Everything in moderation, people. And so I've reached the end of this completely meandering. And it's not even an episode 0. I'm just going to call this whatever the hell I want to call it. It's just going to be a whatever. I'm just talking about things. Man, isn't that okay? Is that okay? Do I have to ask for permission to the algorithm gods? It's just... Anyway, so here we are. I can venture forth and do the intro of this thing, but then I would have to commit to it and disappoint a bunch of people. It's just my life right now. For myself, I'm committing to the idea of playing as Xander in Baldur's Gate. Now, whether I do it personally, and then, I don't know, I feel like I've lost the wave of playing Baldur's Gate for an audience because I've started so many times. So it's like, what's the value? What's the interest as a producer of content, right? What's the value? I'm not sure. I just don't think that's how the algorithm works anymore. And if I start this on a new channel, I'm more likely to potentially do something with it. Will I potentially record this, like backlog a bunch of episodes? Probably, especially up front, because of me from beginning to getting to the Druid Grove. Like, that's just going to be repeat instead of just having an experience. If I record a game like I just did here, like how successful would it be for me to just meander and talk half of the time and not play the game? Well, it's not a playthrough for people to watch playthroughs. That's not what the content will be for, right? But that becomes that's not the juxtaposition. That's not the correct word there. That becomes the irony. Irony is probably not the right word here either. That becomes the conundrum, the conundrum of it all, right? You want to make just like an experience you share with people where you're just bantering, and the content is more about just talking, man. Just talking with people and having that part of the exchange be part of the entertainment for everybody, you know? And I understand that this is not scalable, and maybe that's like I'm in a failing race right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's completely unscalable. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. We'll see what happens with this. Leave comments down below based on your theories, your hypotheses, your speculations, your concerns. How many of you still watch Baldur's Gate out there? And what do you think? like I know that what the content that's coming out after all these months that's appearing in my suggested feeds is more like the tips and tricks kind of thing, right? And it just turned into another, I don't know, I hate to say it this way, but like Grand Theft Auto 5, or like Skyrim, or Oxygen Not Included, or did I say RimWorld already? There's like games where the content isn't about playthroughs. It's just people like doing things in the game. And playthroughs, like long form playthroughs, let's plays, like I don't feel like they definitely don't get suggested. This is just that they don't get suggested. And so I just don't know what that means to the future of let's plays. But I feel like bringing it back somehow. And I'm trying to make micro changes through the year. This is not a rush. I'm on another marathon kind of goal, and this year is really about like, well, fix the whole house thing. Like whatever I settle down next is gonna have, like, I want to build a studio. I've literally given an outro like 5 minutes ago. It was like, I want to build like an actual room that makes me feel like if I'm in that room, I'm doing something. And it doesn't need to be like a YouTuber, like, but it's gonna be for YouTube, very likely. But it's like, I want to make it a space that if I'm in that space, I'm being creative somehow. I'm doing something in that space as a product, but not as a product, not as a producer. And the point is like, I want to have a studio that makes me feel like I'm in a studio, and I'm not just like cranking out things for the sake of cranking out things. That's not what I want to create going forward. I was going to ask about like, yeah, the whole Let's Play thing. Like, how do you even like, I know searching for, there's a cat in my security camera. That kitty, she's like, and he would be right down here, like right in front. Yeah, beyond like searching explicitly for playthroughs of content, I find it extremely difficult. And even the Let's Plays I tend to find for content, it's like, I know there's more people playing this game out there. Why do I keep finding the same 3 to 5 people in this search? Why is this happening? Like, there's got to be a dozen at least any given month. You know what I mean? Smaller channels that just need to get put into search, but that's the era we live in, you know what I mean? There's going to be 3 to 5 a month, maybe. That's my experience. I don't know what your experience is like, but you can filter all you want. Like, I have to filter like a son of a bitch to try to get some variety in what they suggest to me. It's maddening. It's maddening. In any case, that's it. I'm going to wrap up for real this time. Meander in the comments as you wish, and I'll catch you in whatever this becomes, whenever it becomes it. Talk to you soon. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire everybody. Peace. Shit, do I have to start this to save the character? I don't want to redo this. what do I do? All right, fine. I'm gonna start this because I have to commit it, even though I gave an outro. I need to save it. It will never stop looking cool. That's so cool, man. I like the Wilhelm scream. Did I make that comment the first time? I feel like I would have. For those of you who know, you'll know. Scream that's been around since the 80s. Every time. I really enjoyed the idea of playing one in this game. I think it would be really a lot of fun. The one I guess I created would have been a fun one to keep playing. But I maybe would have just changed maybe some of the RP basis for it, but it's cool. I like that that's a teleport. Oh, no, wait. Pop. Carceri. Was Carceri one of the planes in hell that was like the ice, the one, the cold one, the frigid one? I was a huge fan of Planescape. I've got all the books, I've got all the campaign for 5 years. One of my favorite settings and one of the most inspirational settings or creative content for my creative works. Another boy only one. Ooh, yeah. The Howling Cave. So cool. I love that looked like the trees of Baldur's Gate. I just noticed that. Did it? Like that's just cool that they would have carried that through. Now I just noticed something else on that intro that I don't know if I commented on before, but she literally looks at you and then she turns away and just leaves you there. Like she likes self-preservation. She didn't give a damn. Oh, I mean, she might have thought you were dead. Who cares what the excuse was? She didn't even try to free us. She didn't give a damn. Do not switch this off. Looking good, Xander. Multiverse Xander. Number, I don't know, 20 at this point. I don't know. I like to count it one day. Anyways, here we are.
My head.
There we go. It's saved. Auto save complete, and we'll see. Now this is the bonus outro ending thing that you all caught, and escape.